Good morning. So, I'm going to suggest that we start sitting in Virasana with support. And we're going to open the class with a little bit of simple, gentle breathing, just to bring everything down a notch. So once you get seated, you follow your breath. So I'm not suggesting that you do anything to your breath other than watch it, follow it for a few breaths, or I should say a few counts. And after the next breath, and hopefully a nice kind of settling down and coming into the room, even like look around your surroundings and acknowledge that you're sitting on a mat, on a bolster. I'm going to take right hand on heart, left hand on tummy. And here I'm going to welcome you to close your eyes. And as you inhale, inhale to the hand, the right hand that's on your lungs. And as you exhale, exhale from the hand that's on your tummy. So as you're doing that, I just want you to picture an inhale goes directly to the lungs, which are balloons right underneath your hand. And those balloons expand. And below that is your diaphragm. And the diaphragm is shaped like a dome. And the lungs press that dome down. And that's why you feel like your tummy is popping out when you inhale. But then when you exhale, the lungs deflate, the diaphragm goes up, and it leaves a space for your abdominal area or your tummy to contract or in a way deflate. So if that image helps you to understand why this is the natural path of the breath, then continue with that visual. If not, I'm going to say 5 more breaths. Inhaling to the hand that's on your heart and your lungs, and exhaling from the hand that's on your tummy or your abdominals. And without me talking, you can listen to your breath. So more of your senses are invested in your breathing. And 1 more breath with your chosen imagery or intention. So let's just drop the fingertips down to the mat, sitting up nice and tall, shoulders drop, crown of the head goes up to the ceiling. Just going to do a nice, gentle lift and lower. And just notice if you make your arms really heavy, your shoulders drop. So just do 3. So as the arms go up, the shoulders go down. And 2. And 1 more. Bring the hands in front of the heart, interlock your fingers, turn your palms, keep the shoulders soft, and just take a little rounding of the back. Inhale, exhale, release. Hands behind the back, clasp the palms together, squeeze between the shoulder blades, open up across the collarbones. Bring those fists over to the right. Drop the right ear to the right shoulder. I'm mirroring you. Letting the head drop to the right. Hands behind the back, squeeze between the shoulder blades, open up across the collarbones, fists to the left, ear to the left. Heavy head. And if your body, any part of your body, is asking you to move, answer that request. by moving. So let's let the arms go, bring fingertips to the tops of the shoulders, and we'll circle. 3, 2, 1, and then reverse. 4, 2, last, 1, let it go, fingertips down to the floor. Take the, I'm going to mirror you, right hand to left knee, other hand behind you. So if you have a bolster, hold on to the opposite side of the bolster. Use your breath. Inhale, exhale, and bring it back to the center, over to the right. Last seated pose. Just take the hands behind the head, right at a little higher than the base of the skull. Drop chin to throat. Make your arms heavy. And let your spine round all the way down to your tailbone. If you want to increase the opening of your back, you can pull your tummy in. One more breath. So slowly and carefully come off whatever you're sitting on and make your way to a child's pose. And just take a moment in your child's pose to breathe, surrender, use gravity, feel the compact nature, and at the same time, rock back and forth. Use your breath and keep increasing your folds, right? So you might actually feel your ribs kind of settling deeper into your thighs. Inhaling and exhaling. So you're going to leave your hips over towards the left, and you're going to walk your fingertips over towards the right. You may hit a hard edge, so you want to love that edge. Breathe into it. Lengthen the left side. Inhaling, exhaling, and walk it back to the center. You can rock your hips back and forth again. Keep the hips to the right, walk the fingertips to the left, and lengthen through that right side. And one more breath. When we come back to the center, walk your fingertips far enough forward so that your hips end up over your knees, and then drop into your puppy dog. So there's a sense of hitting this point of traction where you really don't even have to do anything. You just kind of fall into this place, right? And then you might feel the length of your spine, and then go to the outer edges of your armpits and wrap them to the floor. Getting really wide across your shoulders. Inhale, exhale. You take the right hand, thread it underneath the left, drop the shoulder, drop the head, and another gentle twist. And pay attention where you're getting your messages, where you're getting your signals, and take your attention there. Come back to the center, drop into your puppy dog again. Find the outer edges of the armpits just to practice. Left arm under right, drop the head, shoulder and head down. And you can think about the tailbone extending away from the right fingertips. Pull your tummy in. Nice. If you have blocks, grab them. I neglected to tell you to have blocks nearby. Sorry. If you don't, and it means getting up and having to go too far, don't worry about it. You can do this without blocks, but if you have blocks, we're going to go back to that puppy dog. And just by raising the hands and creating more leverage, you actually can go a little deeper into that
middle to upper body back bend. Settle in, find that place of traction, and then you can very intentionally find the outer edges of the armpits, wrap them to the floor, getting really wide across your shoulders, using your breath, and bending a little deeper into that middle to upper back. We're going to let that go, let it settle in, sit back into your child's pose. So child's pose is a really nice way to let things settle in, let things marinate, allow your attention to go to parts of the body that need the attention, get the breath regulated, and then we're going to go back one more time. Drop into this puppy dog, half dog. Find that place of traction, outer edges of the armpits, wrap to the floor, slight bend of the middle to upper back, breathing and lengthening and bending. And let it go, back to child's pose. In the child's pose, if your body is telling you to do something, my mind always tells me to rock back and forth, I'm going to rock back and forth. So before we move on, grab a strap. You're going to fold it in half, sitting on your heels. And then grab onto, the ends of the strap like this. And we're just going to do these beautiful shoulder circles. So if your elbows are unable to straighten, just bend them. So if you bend them the same. If you're able to keep them straight, don't hyperextend them. There's always a middle ground. You want to know the edges, the extremes, but you don't want to live there. You want to live in between somewhere, but be able to move effortlessly from one to the other. I think this is 5. And then we're going to switch. I'm sorry, not switch. I'm going to take the strap behind the back. With your palms facing forward. This is harder because the strap gets shorter. Make sure you bend those elbows if they need to bend. If not, don't hyperextend them, right? So that's 4. That's 3. We're going for 2. Last one. Nice, and back. And let it go and shake it out. So really shake it out. So the more you move, the more the energy moves. You don't want it to get stuck again. So we do all this stuff to keep the energy, to release the energy, to keep it moving. And movement will make that happen. So find your way back to your child's pose if you want to take a moment. But if not, we're going to come into all fours. We're just going to move right into cats and cows. And if any particular part of the body feels dense, pay attention and send it permission to soften, right? And to become more porous. And in the next cow, you're going to come forward and then you're going to sit back to your child's pose. So we're going to come forward, let the blades slide down the back. Literally the blades are slamming into the rib cage. We're going to go for 2 and 1. Nice. Coming back to all fours. Readjust, make sure that your wrists are underneath your shoulders, your knees are underneath your hips. We're going to stay right here. I forgot what I was going to do. Oh, turn the toes under a lot and sit back on your heels. So you want to bend really deeply into those toes. And again, if you shift your heels like windshield wipers back and forth, you're going to open up those feet big time. All the way to the pinkies. We're going to come back, all fours, alignment matters. We're going to turn the wrists either out to the side, your choice, or all the way. Keep the elbows soft. So alignment here is really important, and paying attention to your shoulders, sliding down your back is also really important. This may be enough, might be sending enough signals. And then if you want to get a little bit more intense, you can circle for 5 in one direction, and then 5 in the other direction. Coming back to neutral, take your wrists out of that excruciation, shake them out if they need to be shaken out. Counter pose to that is to turn the palm up. So the top of the hand is on the mat. And you can apply as much pressure as you want, and then you can also isometrically drag that hand out to the side, to the right, and to the other side. Same thing. Using your breath, inhaling, exhaling, pressing down if you need more, lightening up if you need more, or staying neutral. So when we come back to all fours, let's walk that right foot back and find the corner of that heel and really, really reach. As much as you can so that you feel that Achilles in the calf. I'm going to walk that right foot over to the left, look over the left shoulder. Keep your arms. So the arms think you're not paying attention. So you're going to be the captain of this ship. It's a 10:25. You're not going to collapse in your arms. When you come back to the center, lift that right leg off the floor. Bend that knee, take it out to the side. We'll do 5 big circles in one direction, 5 big circles in the other direction. Nice. And bring it down. Shift your hips back and forth. Sometimes your body tells you what it needs. Listen and answer. Left foot, reach through the heel, corner of the heel. Don't worry about alignment here. Just find the Achilles, find the calf. You can bounce into it if that's what your body is asking you to do. Walk to the right. Look over your right shoulder. Don't collapse in your upper body, so start that training right away. Using your breath. Pulling your tummy in if that's available to you. Bringing it back. Find your alignment again. Shoulders over wrists. Lift that back knee. Bend it and out to the side. Big circle for 5, 4. Make sure you're not collapsing. Other way. And the more you lift that knee, the more you activate or fire up that glute. And bring it down and find your way to your child's pose. So I'm going to change it up a little bit here in terms of the sequence that we're always doing. We're not going to do them in succession. So let's take a breath. Settle in. Prepare yourself. We're going to come forward and through to an upward facing. Okay? Let's stay here a moment and shift the weight back and forth from hand to hand. Keep the shoulders sliding down the back. So a really nice bend in the middle to upper back. And then we're going to flip over the toes to the dog and stay here just to get a little warm up. Shift, stretch, pay attention, slide into the knuckles. So we're going to do 3 waves forward and back. We're going to inhale to the plank, wave, exhale to the dog, inhale to the plank, exhale to the dog, inhale. Last one, exhale, stay in the dog. See if you can find the outer edges of those armpits so you can make those shoulders really, really wide. Keep sliding into your knuckles so that you're light on the heels of the hands. Apex of the triangle, tailbone way up, heels way down. Shift the heels over to the right, take a stretch on the left. Shift the heels left, take a stretch on the right. Come back to the center. Make any adjustment you need to make. We're going to lift the heels of the hands off the floor so we're bending into the knuckles. If you need to do one at a time, do one at a time. The point is to have those knuckles accessible when we need them. So you want to know where they are. They want to be used to being slid into. Keep the elbows soft. Let the blade slide down the back. Use your breath. We're going to drop the heels of the hands down. We're going to start pedaling the feet. So you can do a really deep pedal if you lift the foot. That's not stretching, right? So we can do, it's like almost like a prance. We'll do 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. So you do this to the best of your ability. You're just going to hover the knees. Try not to come forward in your shoulders and reach through those heels. Hover your knees, and again, reach through the heels. Check in. Make sure you're sliding into your knuckles. One more after this. Nice. And balance that dog again. Last one. You're going to take the left hand and grab onto the right ankle. Breathe and pull your tummy in. Oops. And other side. Always using your judgment. Drop the knees down to the floor. Let's take a few breaths in the child's pose, moving back and forth, if that appeals to your body. Otherwise, just stay in your child's pose and have the experience that you like to have in your child's pose. So we're going to go through our sequence again. We're going to come forward and through, upward facing. We're going to flip over those toes, downward facing. 3 waves. Inhale it forward, exhale it back. Inhale it forward, exhale it back. One more. Inhale it forward and exhale it back. Stop and stay in your dog. Make an adjustment, any adjustment. We're going to float that right leg up as high as you want it to go. Bend the knee, open it out, and keep lifting the knee so that you fire up, can feel that glute. We're going to bring the right knee to the right elbow, plank 3 times. 2 and 1. From the 3-legged, you're going to bring that right knee forward for a pigeon. Settle into your pigeon for 5 breaths. So let me just turn to face you. You stay where you are. So once you get into your pigeon, the priority is squared hips. So all you have to do is think about fold in the right and unfold in the left. That's it. Once you start bringing all your attention there in a way, or it has a way of kind of settling. And if you can't feel it, you have to trust it. So after the next breath, you take a little walk over to the right, and you choose the way you want to do it. Today I'm in the mood to stay up on my hands, elbows straight, so I can really lean into that left side. Bring it back to the center, over to the other side, bringing it down for whatever reason. As long as you have your alignment, once you set that up, movement can only be beneficial. You bring that right leg out to a good distance so that you can sit on your pelvic floor, feel the spine rise, crown of the head goes up, and we fold. I can almost guarantee you're going to hit an edge here. So we love our edges. Love it. Breathe into it. In fact, include your abdominals. And you might notice how that edge softens. And then make sure you're reaching through the heel, which we just opened up before. Now we're going to take a little walk over to the left, fingertips on either side of the front foot, and you be the judge. You know when you folded enough, and you're ready to twist. All twists are the same. The range of the twist depends on the depth of the core. So once you get to that edge, you start using your abdominals, and you'll actually see what I mean. So when we come out of this, this is a very challenging pose. Modify it if you need to. So a modification could look like this. It could look like this. It could also look like that. So if you choose to do the pose this way and you have the range for the heel to be over the knee and the knee to be over the heel, that's where you end up. Again, every seated pose, pelvic floor, spine, crown of the head, hinge forward to your edge. Once you hit that edge, check in with your shoulders. Think about your hips as a hinge. So again, I feel the desire to move back and forth. So I am. Your choice. Breathe. Pull in your tummy. And think about the fold that you're creating. Inhaling and exhaling. We're going to walk it back, sitting up nice and tall. I'm sorry, we're walking away from the top foot. So whichever foot is on top, you're going to walk your fingertips away, bring the other arm over your head. And before you do any lengthening, make sure that you're aiming the opposite butt down and reaching through those fingertips, because the only way to engage and lengthen the waist, above the hip, below the ribs. So we're going to stay here at our edge and just rotate. Don't worry about your shoulders, because as soon as you start scooping your abdominals in, pulling your tummy in, you'll notice your shoulders release, at which point you want to extend crown of the head from tailbone. You can also look behind yourself so that you release your neck a little bit. Now, the elbow just happens to be here. So we're going to hook it And again, just continue rotating around your spine and keep your heart open and let it go. We're going to just take this one step further. Knot those knees. Make sure your pubis is lined up with your knees. Never take your feet any further than your knees. You may already feel that whole swirling activity. And every seated pose, when you fold forward, it's a hinge, right? So if you round, that's not a hinge because you're leaving your hips out of it. So you want to include your hips and extend your heart and the crown of your head away from your tailbone. And it just gets more and more excruciating. Except we know that this is badly needed range of motion, and the hips really love it when you come out of it. Hinge back out. Gracefully find your way back to your child's pose. Rock your hips back and forth. We've only done the right side. We're going to come forward and through upward facing. Flip over the toes, downward facing. This time we're only going to do one wave forward, one wave back. Floating the left leg up. Open it out for three-legged. Take a moment here to lift the knee, fire up the glute, and then 3, left knee to left elbow, and 2. Last one. Back to your three-legged. Bringing that left knee forward and down to the mat in your pigeon on the left. So as you're here, letting gravity help you to become more compact. So that sense of compactness that you feel in the child's pose, you almost want to eventually get your body and the joints associated with this pose to be able to be as compact. So the breath, gravity, and that idea of surrender really work towards that end. And then we're going to take a walk over to the left. The way you want to do it is your choice. I like to kind of lean into the right side here and also feel across from the big toe to the little toe of the right foot. Bringing it back to the center and over to the other side. If you look over your shoulder, you get a nice little neck stretch. And then we come back to the center. Sitting up nice and tall. Folding forward, using your abdominals. Reaching through the heel, don't forget. Walk it over, folding. Opposite hand to the outside of the straight leg foot and twist. Pull your tummy in. When we bring it back, take a moment just to sit up nice and tall. You might notice that as you open up all these spaces, your ability to sit up improves. And then half lotus or any variation that works for you. Let all of that energy just move. That's all it's doing. It's moving. It's trying to flow. So you don't want to get in the way. You want to give it the freedom to flow. You can do that with your breath. You can do that with your attention. And you can do that with your knowledge. And then we're going to fold forward from the tailbone. It definitely increases the intensity.
And pull your tummy in on the exhale. When we bring it, when we bring it back up, we're going to take it over to a side bend away from the top leg. So in my case, it's walking the left fingertips out to the side, and then you want to go back and check in to that opposite butt and reach through the fingertips and lengthen through that left side. Try to go far enough so you actually feel your waist. So that's from the bottom of the ribs to the top of the hip, right in here. You want to feel it. And then slowly and carefully, just bring those fingertips down along the left side and pull your tummy in, and your shoulders might be released, at which point you can extend and lengthen. And bring it back. Woo. Knot it up. Make sure your pubis is in line with your knees and your feet are no further forward. Your feet are no further forward than your knees. Again, now that you know what you're feeling is energy moving, then you're going to fold it forward and breathe. And if you want to, you can rock it back and forth. Don't forget to pull your tummy in and bring it back up and find your way back to your child's pose. So I'm going to let that all kind of marinate, right? Give it time, patience, and the freedom to settle in and move. From the child's pose, we're going to go back to our sequence. So we're going to inhale forward into the upward facing. Exhale to your downward facing. 3 waves. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Stay in your dog. We're going to float that right leg up again. Open it out. So we've done quite a bit of opening, so you might have more range of motion. We're going to step that right foot halfway up with the foot turned out. Turn on to the outside of the left. Bring the shoulder right over the wrist. And here we are. And we're going to breathe. And we're going to think light, lifted, everything towards the heavens. You might start feeling this side, which is what you want to feel. Pull your tummy in, you might feel it more. Now, you're going to take the right hand back down. You're going to turn back onto the back foot. Take the right ankle, cross it over the left, and we're going to stay in our plank for 5 breaths. And of course, your choice. If you don't want to do 5, you don't do 5. If you want to do more than 5, you do more than 5. But what I want you to think about is light. I want you to think about cylindrically wrapping into your abdominals. And after the 5th breath, you're just going to jackknife it back to your dog. Walk your fingertips back towards your feet. Your ankles stay crossed. Take a couple of breaths. Walk your fingertips over to the left. Lots of side stretching today. We want to avoid getting compressed. Bring it back to the center, walk it back out to your dog. Uncross your ankles. Balance your dog. Take a moment, shift your weight if you need to. Hips, everything. Float the left leg up. Open that out, 3-legged dog. Fire up the glute. Inhale. Exhale, slide into your knuckles. Don't forget that.
We're going to step that left foot halfway up, turn it out, turn onto the outside of the right foot, and bring it into a side plank, right? So in this side plank, you might actually be able to play the lightness of it, which means keep the hips up, kiss the floor with the contacts, and feel everything going up towards the heavens. After the next breath, bring the left hand down, turn on to the right foot, set that up. Left ankle crosses, bring it forward into your plank, stay light. Use your breath, keep your elbows soft, kiss the floor with your contacts, cylindrically wrap into your abdominals. Jackknife it back to your dog. Take a few breaths here just to negotiate the activity. If you feel it mostly on the back of the left leg, that's exactly where you're supposed to be. Take a walk over to the right. Then you can actually shift the left hip back towards the wall behind you. Bring it back to the center, walk it back out to your dog. Uncross your legs. Drop your knees down, sit back on your heels for your child's pose. Get a drink of water if you want to. Move things around, shake it out. Curl your toes under and find your way to a hang. Okay. If you're still folded with your fingertips on the floor, let's kind of meet there. Because I'd like to take a couple of breaths abducting. Because that really kind of resets everything. So with the balls of the big toes pressing down, the outer edges of the heels pressing out, dropping the head, making the head heavy, making the arms heavy. You might feel your buttock bones widening. So just continue doing that. While we're here, just take a little walk over to the right. You actually might not feel anything because we've done so much side stretching. And over to the other side, same thing, but it doesn't hurt. Back to the center, keep the knees soft and roll it up. So let's just take a moment to shake it out. It actually feels really good. And nobody's looking, I can't see you, so you could be as silly as you want to be. When we come back, let's get those feet underneath, right? Underneath the hips. And lift the arms overhead. Interlock the fingers, turn the palms up. Stretch the palms towards the ceiling, but drop the shoulders down your back. Inhale, exhale. So we're going to do a circle with the arms. You can include your body as long as you don't tweak anything, right? So look up at your hands, bring them over to the right in front, to the left and up. We're going to do 4 and 3 and 2. Don't let your shoulders pop up to your ears. And 1. Other way. You can bend your knees. So you just want to make sure that you're not going to tweak anything, but that you can actually enjoy the movement. And we're going to end up back up at the top. Take a moment, draw the arms back so you feel the tops of the shoulders. Feel really nice and long from the soles of the feet all the way out through the palms of the hands. Inhale, exhale. You're going to bring hands together, interlock the fingers and pointer fingers, index fingers up to the ceiling, shoulders drop down again, pull the arms back, bend the elbows. Where the head hits the arms and the arms hit the head, you're going to press, isometric action. If all goes well, the shoulders will release. Inhaling, exhaling. One more breath. We're going to release, bring those arms up again, draw the arms back just to remind the shoulders. Bring the arms down. Right arm comes up, palm faces up to the ceiling, left arm grabs underneath the wrist, up and over. So if you're feeling safe, shift your hips over to the right and reach through the heel of the right hand. Oh, it's my left, you're right. Bring it up, switch, up and over. Reach through the heel of the hand. Bring it back up. We're going to drop those arms down and take the feet a little wider. So some of you who have issues with your knees, just modify, right? So we're going to go into squats. If you can't do squats, you just go as far as you can. So with a long spine, we're just going to fold forward until the fingertips are on the floor. Before we even start, find the balls of the big toes, outer edge of the heels, press it apart, and feel your hip fold widen. In fact, soften your knees a little bit so we stay in the hips, right? So while we're there, you're just going to bend your knees for a warm-up. So we're not trying to go very far in this. We're just warming up the hip crease. Butt goes up, head goes down. And again, just a warm-up. So those of you who have problems with your knees, just go as far as you can and make it more about the hip fold. Make it more about unrounding your back. Make it more about the length of your spine. Butt goes up, head goes down. Come way up on the balls of the feet and drop into your knees. You can stay here. You do not have to go any further. You just want more hip crease action, right? If you're going to go into your squat, you drop the heels, you drop your butt. The heels can come in if they want to. And there's your squat. So squats are tricky if you don't have a natural squat. The tendency is to fall back, to become back heavy. So you need to include a forward action. And basically that's extending the spine, opening the heart, even using the arms to go forward. Butt goes up, head goes down. We're going to do one more of those. Up on the balls of the feet, drop into the hip fold. If you can go deep into this, your chest kind of comes inside your knees, your ribs come inside your knees. Drop your heels, they can come in. Hands to heart if you can. If not, do whatever you need to do. Just make sure that there is always an unrounding of the back. Pull your tummy in. Since we're here, we're just going to drop down onto your butt. Back. So the shape you're going to make looks like this. Flexed feet, knees are together. Hold on underneath your thighs, and you're just going to find a really comfortable, safe place. Because all we're going to do is we're going to rock and roll our hips, right? So we're going to curl the tailbone and arch, or cat and cow, right? So this is your cow, and that's your cat. You might feel really, really good. Of course, you don't want to overdo it. You want to listen to your body so that it ends up being a good experience as opposed to a bad one. So let's do 5 and 4. Include your breath. Inhale and exhale. for 2 and 1. Beautiful. So come back to neutral. So it's not way up here. It's kind of like in the middle. Let's see. I'm going to do it on the right. So we're just going to take the right arm and we're going to reach and we're going to bend the elbow back behind, right? We're going to try to do 10 of these. And 9. And 8. And 7. 6. 5. 4. Inhale. Exhale. 2. And 1. And of course, we're going to switch. So find that neutral spot. Reach with the left, elbow to the left. Reach up, elbow. 9. 8. 6. 5. 4. Reach. 3. And 2. And 1. And then both. We're going to go one way, other way, right? 9. 8. 7. 6. And 5. And 4. And 3. 2. Last 1. Woo. And find your way down to the mat on your back. So when you bring your knees towards your chest, just to release your lower back, we want to roll around on that sacrum, right? Like a natural platform. So we're just kind of rolling on the edges of the platform and then going the other direction. Nice. When we come back to the center, let it sort of settle on its own. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. And we can hold on to the outside of the feet and draw the feet towards your body. Your lower back will be pressing into the mat, but you want to add a little bit of an uncurling of the tailbone. Just change the shape a little bit. After the next breath, the knees kind of stay where they are. We're just going to separate the feet until we're in a squat. So you can never say, if you have a problem with a squat, you can never say you can't do a squat because you could probably do it lying down. And if you can, hold on to your feet. You're going to soften those elbows, which will get you deeper into your hip fold. And your back is naturally straight, which is really great. And you can, again, resist curling the tailbone and get a little deeper into that hip crease. We're going to bring the feet together, knees together, knees towards the chest, arms out to the side. Nice, easy twist. Drop the knees to the right. Keep that left shoulder aiming to the floor. Don't forget to take a couple of breaths using your abdominals. It changes the experience. Back to the knees, over to the other side. One more breath. Back to the center. Find your way safely to a seated position. seat of your choice. Anjali Mudra or the Mudra of Reverence. In the spirit of honoring yourself and in the spirit of bringing everything back to the source. So bringing everything back to the center, back to your heart, back to your actual center, your pelvis. Allow everything to consolidate, come in, out from the edges, and generate heat and life, vitality within you. Namaste. Thank you.